Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears as we teleport to the thrilling era of 18th century Russia. Prepare to witness the titanic tussle between an audacious imposter, a war-torn veteran turned Pretender Tsar, and Catherine the Great, a remarkable woman who commandeered the Russian throne in a palace coup. Their clash not only shook the nation, but altered its history. So buckle up, history buffs, as we embark on this roller coaster ride of ambition, rebellion, and power. Chapter 1. Catherine the Great, Ascend to Power. Picture this. A young, spirited German princess, Sophia of Anhalt-Zerbst, traverses the expansive European landscape to marry the heir to the Russian throne, Peter III. Yet destiny had a bigger game plan. Young Sophia, renamed Catherine after converting to Russian Orthodoxy, harbored an ambition as vast as Russia itself. Just 6 months after her husband ascended the throne, he was ousted, and Catherine, with her potent mix of charm and guile, seized the moment. The coup, shrouded in whispers of conspiracy and murder, marked the ascendancy of Catherine the Great. Her reign marked a transformative period in Russian history, her German origins only a footnote to the towering legacy she would create. Stay tuned, dear readers, as this tale of regal intrigue unfolds. Chapter 2. The Rule of Catherine and the Golden Age of Russia. As Catherine II settled herself onto the Russian throne, the kingdom found itself in the hands of a woman whose mind was a marvelous labyrinth of wit and resolve. She was no ordinary queen, but Catherine the Great, a woman who held the reins of power with ironclad hands, yet infused her rule with the softness of silk. Under her reign, Russia bloomed like a midsummer night's flower. Basking in her golden age, Russia blossomed under her strategic policies, growing its territory, reforming its administration, and fostering arts and culture. She was a chess player in the game of nations, moving her pieces with daring audacity, capturing territories and etching a grand Russian empire onto the map. Catherine, the Empress, was not merely a ruler. She was a visionary who transformed Russia into a vibrant European-esque power, marking an epoch that would be remembered as her eponymous Golden Age. Chapter 3. Emergence of the Pretender. Tsar, Yemelyan Pugachev. From the throbbing heart of Russia's harsh yet majestic landscapes emerged a figure, brazen and daring, Yemelyan Pugachev. A Cossack, weathered by war and burnished by its trials, Pugachev was no stranger to the vagaries of life. But there was more to this rugged man than what met the eye. He bore an audacious claim that he was none other than the supposed-to-be-dead Peter III. An incredible assertion? Without doubt. But he bore it with a conviction that was intoxicating, a fire that lit up in the eyes of the disheartened and the downtrodden. Pugachev, the Pretender Tsar, played his part with theatrical gusto, his charisma seeping through the despair of Russia's oppressed, like a warming vodka in a harsh Siberian winter. He was a hope, a beacon, a promise of change. Unbeknownst to all, the stage was set for a rebellion that would shake the throne of the mighty Catherine herself. Chapter 4. Pugachev's Rebellion, the largest peasant revolt. Picture this. A Cossack named Yemelyan Pugachev strides into the heart of Russia's oppressed serfdom, eyes ablaze with a rebellious fire. With a flair for the theatrical, he throws off his peasant guise and reveals himself, or rather, proclaims to be, Peter III, the deceased Tsar. In the hushed whispers of the night, the rumble of a revolt begins. Pugachev's promises of a future without serfdom, taxes and compulsory military service seep into every nook and cranny of the Russian countryside. The oppressed peasantry finds a new melody in Pugachev's words, a song of freedom and hope that sweeps across the vast, cold plains of the motherland. Can you hear the beat of the rebel drums? With Pugachev at the helm, peasants, Cossacks, and old believers seize town after town. Their rebellion, much like a wildfire, engulfs the Russian countryside. Their victory over the city of Kazan marks the zenith of their revolt. It seems for a fleeting moment that the audacious impostor and his makeshift army might indeed turn the tide of history. But even as the echoes of their triumphant roars fill the air, storm clouds gather on the horizon. Catherine the Great, the lioness of the throne, prepares her forces. Unbeknownst to Pugachev, the winds of fortune were about to shift. Stay tuned, dear readers. The drama of the Pretender Tsar is just beginning to unfold. Chapter 5. The Fall of the Pretender Tsar. Our tale takes a dramatic turn as the unyielding Empress Catherine, or as I like to call her, the Queen of Steel Resolve, rolls up her metaphorical sleeves. It was time for the audacious Pugachev to meet his match. Catherine, ever the tactician, began pulling together her forces. She assembled her army with a steely glint in her eyes and a firm command in her voice. Catherine was no porcelain figurine sitting idly on the throne. She was a roaring lioness, preparing to reclaim her kingdom. As for Pugachev, the poor man was basking in his fleeting glory, entirely unaware of the storm brewing in the royal palace. His ragtag army of peasants and Cossacks were jubilant, but the tide was about to turn. And turn it did. The battles that ensued were no less than a chess game, albeit one fought with steel and fire rather than pawns and knights. Catherine's forces came thundering down on Pugachev's rebellion like a merciless tempest. Pugachev fought fiercely, but Catherine's forces were unstoppable. Before long, our Pretender Tsar found himself a captive, his dreams of a crown turning into shackles of iron. His grand entrance to Moscow was not atop a victorious steed, but in an iron cage. Oh, the irony. The very people who once hailed him as their savior now watched in stunned silence as the Pretender Tsar was brought to justice. Thus ended Pugachev's daring dance with destiny, marking the brutal yet riveting climax of our story. Stay tuned, history enthusiasts, as we delve into the aftermath in our next chapter. Chapter 6: The End of the Rebellion and the Legacy of Catherine the Great. Our tale of rebellion now reaches its climax, unfolding like a grand Russian symphony, echoing through the court of history. The charismatic Pugachev, the Pretender Tsar, was now caged, his dreams of power crushed by the cold reality of iron bars. The fierce empress, Catherine the Great, ever resolute, had tamed the rebellious tide that threatened her realm. It was a dance of power, and Catherine led with grace and force, a ballet of strategy that silenced the tumultuous chorus of dissent. In the frost-kissed heart of Moscow, Pugachev was paraded, a defeated puppet in the theater of royal justice. His final act? A public execution, a grim finale to his audacious gambit. It was as if the empress herself had taken up the playwright's quill, scripting an end to Pugachev's rebellion that no one dared forget. Yet, amidst the echoes of a fallen rebellion, Catherine's reign was far from a silent winter's night. Her legacy was the dawn of a new era, a golden age, marking the annals of Russian history with the indelible ink of her formidable power. Catherine the Great, the orchestra's maestro, played the symphony of her reign with unyielding resolve. Her rule resonated through history, an enduring melody of power and resilience, forever intertwined with the fascinating tale of the Pretender Tsar. A story where rebellion danced with royalty, forever echoing in the grand opera of Russian history. As our story concludes, it's time to lower the curtain on this riveting tale of rebellion and royalty. After all, what is history if not a grand stage, where ambition strives, courage falters, and power prevails? From the opulent halls of Catherine's palace to the roaring fires of Pugachev's rebellion, we've journeyed through time, living the audacious dreams of a Pretender Tsar and the indomitable resolve of a great empress. So, dear history buffs, keep your time machines revved up, because when it comes to unveiling the past, the ride never ends. Until next time, stay curious, stay excited, and stay tuned.